birthday party in the town of Cedra in Puerto Rico. Every man you see on camera, including one that you can't see, will be dead just seconds after this frame of the video. In one of the most gruesome organized gang hits to ever take place on American soil since the St. Valentine's Day massacre, where mobsters in Chicago disguised as police lined up 7 men against a wall and executed them. And just a reminder to all the young guys, every single one of these men was armed, and 2 of them even got a chance to shoot back. But when you outmatched, it doesn't matter what kind of gun you have or how many bullets, especially when your enemy has the ups on you.
Yeah, bro, because like the most fast guy always gonna end up winning on this type of shit. It doesn't matter like how tall you are, the most fast nigga, he ended up like winning.
And to truly show their brutality, the hitman parked the car down the street, walked up to the scene, and stood over every single one of them. Meet El Burro and his crime syndicate.
El Burro.
The worst crime scenes I've ever seen publicly available on the news, between El Burro's gang and Los Viaros, to one of the most popular rappers in Puerto Rico, C. Dobleta, along with a corrupt police officer being allegedly involved in the murder of another officer as part of a cartel alliance known as La Familia, as well as his association with another popular Puerto Rican artist who is a member of the Los Diablos de Llorens Torres, or the Devil.
So they got the goddamn rappers on that shit. It's not even rap. I don't even know like what kind of songs it make, but he's a goddamn famous, bro. Why all these famous and everything, they got themselves some type of bullshit, bro? I don't know, but bro, you're literally making money, bro. Why can't you stop and just make music, get you some bitches, get you some girls, my bad. But bro, why don't you stop? And you gotta mess up with this type of shit, bro. For what, bro?
Of Llorens, a housing project in San Juan. Welcome to the murder capital of the United States. When watching the news in Puerto Rico, despite it being a U.S. territory, I was surprised to find that the news in Puerto Rico is not censored at all compared to in the mainland. When watching the coverage of a double homicide in Calle, I was not expecting to see 2 unblurred bodies lying in the background while the police were surveying the crime scene, something I obviously can't show you here. But this scene was a result of a major conflict involving a man the FBI considered the most wanted fugitive in Puerto Rico, El Burro. And one of the most cold-blooded things about that first scene is that it took place outside of a bar called La Lomita, with a statue of Jesus Christ overlooking. This is not just any regular.
Bro, this is not just any regular neighborhood, bro. I don't know if you're trying to say that, but for me, this is not just any type of regular neighborhood, bro. You can stay right there. You can go there and come out living, breathing, and everything, bro. On God, you can.
The crime, what we're about to go over, is pure evil. Now, El Burro's organization was also responsible for this first scene, but that's far from the worst crime attributed to him. Now, he was considered to be the head of a drug trafficking organization known as La Lorenzana. They seem to be very active around the neighboring municipalities of Salinas and Calle, as the double murder of the Los Viaros members took place near a strip of restaurants in Calle, and the next hit I want to cover took place at a restaurant called Los Antonitos in the Playa neighborhood of Salinas. A 33-year-old man named Rafael was eating alongside his girlfriend and a small child. But the cold-blooded part about it, other than the child being directly next to him, is the fact that as the hitman walked into the restaurant, I wouldn't even describe him as inconspicuous. He walked in clearly looking like he was on a mission, and by the time he was standing in front of Rafael, the man still hadn't even lifted his head from the plate, completely unaware of what was about to happen. And the woman beside him didn't scream or even barely change the expression on her face. While in the mainland United States, people will see this and assume that she must have set him up. But I doubt it, especially if the child was also hers. Likely, she is just far too desensitized to violence, being an adult that likely lived her entire life in Puerto Rico. She simply moves out of the way, already knowing that her date is long gone, and likely not even being completely surprised by such a thing taking place. Now, according to the police, Rafael had a history of involvement in the criminal underworld on the island, and he was just one of 6 murders that took place from that Saturday to Sunday night. A native of Caguas, a little ways away from Salinas, it's unclear why Rafael felt so comfortable in this area, and why despite his history, he was not paying attention to his surroundings. But on to the rapper and his accomplice.
I know I knew he was a rapper. I goddamn know he was a rapper. I didn't know the guy, his songs, I didn't know him. But bro, I knew he was supposed to be a rapper. Why always a rapper, bro? Oh God, why always a rapper?
Bletta, a man also known in Puerto Rico as the White Devil, who despite his YouTube channel only being a year old, he's managed to put together over 170 million total views on his music videos. But clearly, with a name like the White Devil, music is not the only thing he was known for on the island. On March 29th, 2024, Officer Eliza Ramos, a 12-year veteran of the police force, had just finished his shift and was headed home when he spotted 3 motorcycles and an
The shifting was driving home when he spotted 3 motorcycles in one of the road vehicle whose riders were firing shots in the air as all the vehicles passed by.
TV firing at a vehicle that was passing by. Despite his shift being over, he was still a law enforcement officer, so he called for backup and followed the group into Sabana Abajo, a housing project in Carolina, an area just outside of San Juan. But unfortunately for Officer Ramos, he was shot and killed soon after entering the complex.
Oh my God, they caught a police body? Just like that? Oh my God, those are insane, bro. Oh, damn.
And the assailants even stole the service weapon off of his body. Months later, the FBI, Carolina police,
And they stole the police. They caught a body. They got him. And they stole the weapon. They stole the pipe on, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Department and the ATF will launch a major raid and arrest 56 gang members, including Bletta, and also 47-year-old Officer Fernando Torres, who is accused of giving information to drug traffickers. And although he had been recommended for expulsion from the force, likely due to some suspicion of his involvement with gangs, he remained and was likely a factor in how comfortable the gang was in murdering a lone officer and stealing his gun, rather than just running away. And due to this being a federal case, many of them, including Bletta, possibly face the death penalty. It's
Like him up, bro. Like him up.
unfortunate when an officer like Ramos, someone willing to go above and beyond the call of duty for the good of the public, someone needed in the police force of such a dangerous area, is killed and even undermined by the fact that you have other officers working alongside the very men that killed him. Puerto Rico has always been known for its high murder rate, but it appears that the FBI and local authorities have had enough, with the FBI regularly intervening on the island, and this has actually yielded some results, with the homicide rate steadily dropping since 2021, which was a very dangerous year for many cities in the US. Now, El Burro, who was also accused of dismembering rivals and dumping their remains in ravines, was
Whew, stop, nigga. Stop. What? Oh my God, he was dismembering rivals. What a such a bad guy, bro. Ain't you a bold as that? Oh my God, bro. Nah, why would you do that, bro? You already got him. Can you let like the guy go? Like, bro. Oh my God, bro. This dude is insane, though. Oh.
eventually caught along with much of his organization just months before the indictment against Bletta and the La Familia Alliance. And while the Devils of Llorens are likely still active, many members of Los Viraos, El Burro's main rivals, have been arrested.